Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, call Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Kawadash. Alright, double honors, of course, go out to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who continue through the Holy Spirit to give us this truth, knowledge, wisdom, and therefore you have to pray for the understanding because the Holy Spirit provides that. But we do our part in trying to give our people this wisdom, alright? And this is no different. Last week, exactly 1 week ago, um, actually it's been 8 days, Salaki, I made a statement at camp about this very subject. And this is Justice Sonia Sotomayor, alright? And she had made the comment, and here it is, says there is going to be a lot of disappointment in the law, a huge amount. And this is what we tell you Jakes out there, you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans out there. Alright, you can't be dependent on the enemy here, especially when it comes to his court system. We all should have should be experts in that, but no, for some reason, the majority of our people still look for this piece of shit so-called white man who are the nation of Edom in the scriptures. You look for him for justice. So let's get that out of the way right quick. Let's go to as soon as it loads, let's go to whoops, wrong one. Right at the top, this is Psalms 43 and 1. It says, "Judge me, O Most High Yahweh, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation. O deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man." Alright. 2. For thou art the power of my strength. Why dost thou cast me off? That seems like what's happening all the time. But you gotta remember, we're under the curses. Alright. Why go I mourning? Because of the oppression of the enemy. Alright. And what better example is the court system? Alright. Alright. But we're gonna go ahead and read a little bit of this, and then I'll play the video. It says, days before the start of a tumultuous term. Remember, we're in the beginnings of this new term here. After they came back after their vacation, it says, and after the Supreme Court justices divided bitterly over a Texas law that bars most abortions after 6 weeks, Justice Sonia Sotomayor warned an audience of law students about the frustration of having to write dissents. There is going to be a lot of disappointment in a law, a huge amount, she said Wednesday at an event hosted by the American Bar Association. Look at me. Look at my dissents. Earlier this month, Sotomayor penned a scathing opinion when the court's majority allowed the Texas law to go into effect, calling the action stunning. You know, I can't change Texas law, Sotomayor said. But you can, and everyone else who may or may not like it can go out there and be lobbying forces and changing laws that you don't like. The justice then caught herself speaking about a contentious case currently before the court. I am pointing out to that when I shouldn't because they tell me I shouldn't. But my point is that there are going to be a lot of things you don't like and that the public can change. So she's giving you fair warning, alright? And got this token ass, I'm not going to even, you can read that for yourself. On Monday, when the new term starts, Sotomayor will likely enter a new season of dissent. The court is set to grapple with some of the biggest cases in Sotomayor's tenure, including another abortion case that represents a full frontal attack on Roe v. Wade, as well as a Second Amendment dispute that could lead to the invalidation of gun restrictions in the country. No one expects a 67-year-old justice to be in the majority of those cases. She is crafting arguments for future advocates. She is creating these roadmaps of how to restore rights to disempowered people. So again, in that wording, that especially that last portion there, she's pretty much telling you that They're trying, they're taking away your rights. All right. So you can read the rest of this. I didn't want to take too long, but my point in this, after we play this, uh, I'm about to read another article. All right.
Is ahead of the start of what could be a very consequential term. Speaking at an event hosted by the American Bar Association, telling lawyers, quote, there is going to be a lot of disappointment in the law, a huge amount. Her comments coming on the heels of a scathing dissent that she wrote earlier this month, criticizing her fellow justices who refused to block a Texas law that bans abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy. That law that John was just talking about there. CNN's Ariane DeVogue joining us now to talk about this. Wowee, Ariane.
Yeah, and the timing here is interesting, right? On Monday,
Exactly.
this new term starts. It includes a direct challenge to Roe v. Wade, a big Second Amendment case, and it comes on the heels of the court dividing bitterly and allowing that Texas law to go into effect. And of course, she wrote a big dissent, and she was talking to a group of law students yesterday, and she basically wanted to warn them. Here's what she said. She said there's going to be a lot of disappointment in the law, a huge amount. As you study cases and look at the outcomes you disagree with, it can get frustrating. Look at me, look at my dissents. So I can't change Texas's law, but you can, and everyone else who may or may not like it can go out there and be lobbying forces in changing laws that you don't like. What's interesting there is she did something that justices usually don't do, which is refer to a case that's before the court, right? She brings up
Exactly.
that Texas law, and the justices are still considering that. But I have to say, I don't think she gets in any trouble there, because what she said yesterday pales in comparison to her actual dissent, right?
Yes.
Listen to what she said. Listen to what she said about that law in that dissent. She said, the court's order here is stunning, presented with an application to enjoy a flagrantly unconstitutional law engineered to prohibit women from exercising their constitutional rights and evade judicial
I didn't want
scrutiny.
I didn't want to go into that, but their constitutional rights to do what? Commit murder. But my thing is, you got to look at the times we're in, and what do you think is the most currently? What is the most divisive thing that's happening? And that's what I wanted really to bring this article up. And this is, of course, what I'm talking about. To hell with that abortion shit, And what I mean, you have to question also the timing, like she said. Um, you're supposed to be losing so many people to this pandemic. Of course, we know it's bullshit, but and then you want to keep pushing this abortion thing. Of course, we know the real target of that is our people. All right, that's the thing. But back to the topic. Supreme Court dashes hopes of vaccine mandate opponents. So, for those of you that we have been warning, week in and week out, that this is an agenda of theirs, and they want everybody to get that serpent's juice, that serpent's piss. All right, all right, and they're not going to stop until they do. Uh, It goes on to say the U.S. Supreme Court dealt another blow to opponents of, the C-19 mandate on Tuesday, and the latest sign that the court is not willing to strike down the public health requirements. Associate Justice Stephen Breyer, the most senior member of the court's liberal wing, rejected a religious challenge to the C-19 mandate due to be implemented in Maine. See, these are the people, by and large, you jakes are responsible for having an office in the first damn place. All right, because you fed into that Democratic bullshit. All right, neither party, all right, has ever benefited us. It says the unnamed plaintiffs identified themselves as healthcare workers who objected to getting vaccinated on religious grounds and made an emergency appeal for an exemption after the First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals dismissed an earlier emergency appeal. The main mandate opponents had sought to block the requirement, but a federal court rejected their challenge on October 13th, and they appealed to the First Circuit, where a three-judge panel declined to grant emergency relief. However, the appeals court moved to fast-track arguments in the case. Interesting. Fast-track. The healthcare workers applied to the Supreme Court for emergency ruling. It is not uncommon for plaintiffs to seek an emergency order while a court is still considering the merits of their case. Breyer is the justice who oversees emergency appeals from the First Circuit. His brief order said, the application is denied without prejudice to applicants filing a new application after the Court of Appeals issues a decision on the merits of the appeal, or if the Court of Appeals does not issue a decision by October 29th, 2021. Alright? That's like, 9 days. 8 days in the wake-up, as it were. Maine's vaccine mandate for healthcare workers is due to take effect on October 29th, and shortly after Breyer's ruling, the First Circuit ruled against the healthcare workers. They can now appeal the decision to the Supreme Court, but recent decisions by the justices suggest they may not be successful. Breyer's order is the third time Supreme Court justices have ruled against C-19 mandate opponents this year, and the decisions have cut across ideological lines. Again, agenda, and they're just going to rubber stamp it. So again, you have false hope. I mean, what should your hope be in? Or I should say, who should your hope be in if you're an Israelite? Not your oppressor, certainly. Alright, so for that, let's go to staying in Psalms here. Let's go to Psalms 130. I'll just read the whole chapter. It's short. Verse 1, it says, a song of degrees. Out of the depths have I cried unto thee, O Most High Yahweh. Not to the Supreme Court. That's a joke in and of itself. Supreme Court. 2, Lord, hear my voice. Let thine ears be attentive to the voice of my supplications. If thou, O Most High Yahweh, shouldest mark iniquities, O Lord, who shall stand? But there is forgiveness with thee, that thou mayest be feared. I wait for the Most High Yahweh, my soul doth wait, and in his words do I hope. My soul waiteth for the Most High Yahweh more than they that watch for the morning. I say, more than they that watch for the morning. Let Israel, what? Let Israel, not anybody else, hope in the Most High Yahweh. For with the Most High Yahweh there is mercy, and with him is plenteous redemption, and he shall redeem Israel from all his iniquities. I don't see any other nation referenced in that. And yet, our people, what? Put their hopes in these people. And you wonder why we're still in the position we're in now. Remember, let's go back to the scriptures. What was said in the Old Testament. Alright. Very simple. This is 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. If my people, which are called by my name. Remember those last 2 verses. Alright. In Psalms 130 and 8. This is to Israel. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. But do our people want to do that? No. Because they're stuck on, they got their lips glued to this devil's rear end. Alright? And here's the thing, let me finish it out with this, because it all goes back to something that was done 16 years ago. This is Breyer's order. It's the first time I'm right here. The court has weighed in on a statewide, and this is in Maine, of course, C-19 mandate, and will likely be seen as yet another indication that the justices are not willing to revisit. I'm sorry, Massachusetts, I said Maine. Long-standing precedent established in 1905's landmark Jacobson v. Massachusetts, and reaffirmed in 1922's Zuck v. King. In Jacobson, the court ruled 72 that a state had the authority to enforce laws on mandatory vaccination. So I'm just letting you know another thing, that this was, they anticipated this beforehand, because this is planned in accordance. Alright? These are some sneaky, evil, wicked pieces of shit you're dealing with. Alright? So, despite all your requests for religious exemptions and all this was already taken into consideration, alright, before this was pushed through. In Jacobson, the court ruled 72 that a state had the authority to enforce laws on mandatory vaccination. The vaccination in question was against smallpox. But again, this is something different, alright? Totally new. It is an experiment, and therefore they're going to have trouble with, at least I perceive that they're going to have trouble getting around the Nuremberg codes. The Supreme Court may not wish to relitigate such an old precedent, and opponents of vaccine mandates have so far failed to convince 3 of the court's members to block. So we got 3 that are standing firm. Alright? Again, this is all a bunch of, this is all histrionics and, you know, playing out for the cameras and shit. They already know what they're going to do. And the thing that I've already said was, the enemy of all this was time, because they managed to blitzkrieg a lot of people using a fear tactic. Alright, it got a lot of people, and they're still, you know, working with that to some degree. Now with the jobs and everything, now everybody's like, damn it, you know. But that's still the carrot phase, believe it or not. Now we're moving into the I'll say carrot bordering stick phase, alright, kind of in the middle here. So shortly he's going to be forced to show his horns and, you know, his teeth, and you're going to know when we say he's a devil, you're going to know that he's a devil, alright, because like I said, time is short. Time was the enemy, alright. And in fact, I'll just close it out with this. You know where I'm going. Alright, this is Revelation 12 and 12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, and we're talking about, we're not talking about the spiritual demon Satan, we're talking about the deceiver and liar here on the earth. Alright, it says, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Alright, I mean, they just going buck wild down there in Australia. Alright, but they got to be a little bit more careful here, because America's got the guns, baby. They got the guns. Alright, and the people in the South, and let it be known, you know, they starting this, when you see those black flags, those blacked out American flags, hey, keep it moving, because they letting you know we ain't playing. Alright, so hey, with that, once again, this has been video on the Supreme Court. You know, they just continue to dash the hopes of those that want to get some relief and say, you know, I don't want this jibber jabber, you know. And also that she was telling you here, Judge Associate Justice Sotomayor, that the rulings coming down in the future you're not going to like, and more or less At least the way I see it is, they just gonna be rubber stamping a lot of shit. You gotta remember, this is one reason, and it's always, by and large, to let you know this is some bullshit. Why don't these guys, when they get up of age, all right, 70s, 80s, don't they just step down and let someone see? That's why it's a whole lot of bullshit. All right, here you are at an age which you should be like enjoying the fruits of your labor, but yet you want to cling on to this power, and like the last uh, Chief Justice died in office. I mean, it's really fucking stupid. And in this case, what happened when Ginsburg died? What happened? Trump put in one of his, cronies. All right, letting you know again, it's all bullshit. Hey, so with that, there's no more to say on this. A lot of our people, you put your faith in these pieces of shit that are set up against you in the first damn place, then what do you expect in return? So with that, I hope whoever views this is edified. This is what we do. You got to filter everything through the scriptures. And therefore, as a result, of course, if the Holy Spirit is working with you, you know that this is a very dangerous time that we're in. Things are speeding up here, and now more than ever, you want to be prayed up. Always pray. Continue praying. Pray always. All right. So with that, shalom.